Welcome to today's episode. Are you where you intend to be? Are you where you have planned or you have written down, I want to be here? Are you there? Sadly, lots of people are faced with the fear of not being where they're supposed to be, of not taking that bold step. Yes, the world today, we find ourselves in a world where the internet, the social media puts so much pressure on us, and then we're doing what the world wants as opposed to doing what we want. You know, we are faced with failures, and then we're scared to use the failure as a learning curve. We find ourselves in jobs where we're not happy, and then we're just after paying the bills as opposed to trying to using that opportunity to be the best you can, or to use it as a learning curve for yourself. Today we have somebody who is going to share her experience of what she has learned over the years, where she has failed, where she has been happy, and yes, where she's where she's actually found herself where she wants to be. Today, Temitope Omotolani, who is one of the co-founders of Crowdyvest and also the CEO of Farm Crowdy, she's going to share her experience with us. She has so many years of experience. She started quite early, yes, and she's done so many business where she has failed, and she has used those experience to get herself to where she is now. And yes, she's still going, I believe. Yeah, so let's have Temitope Omotolani to share her thoughts with us. Hello, Temitope. Thanks for joining me today. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, the superwoman. I was looking through your profile, and I actually looked at lots and lot of things you have laid your hands on. And I'm like, yes, this is what we should do. We shouldn't be afraid of our passion, of taking that bold step. Yes. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, please?
Okay, so let me first say thank you for this opportunity to share and just talk to people. I'm really, really grateful. Thank you. My name is Temitope Omotolani Mohammed. I'm the only child of my parents.
I really wish I'm the only child.
I'm the only child of my parents. Lost my dad over 21, almost 21 years now.
Wow.
Ago. And my mom refused to remarry, so I'm her husband, so to speak.
Oh, that's so cute. I really wish I am.
There are disadvantages and advantages to being the only child, because it means all attention is on you,
Yeah.
as against when you have other siblings that you can split all responsibility and attention with. Yeah, so it has its disadvantages and advantages as well. So I started business quite young. I think my starting business was born out of having to write jam. Like, I think I wrote jam eventually 6 times.
Okay. For those that don't know jam, that don't know
joint joint administration matriculation something. So that's the exam you write to gain admission into the university. So I finished secondary school and I was trying to get into university, and I wrote the first exam. I didn't pass the second one. By the second one, I thought, okay, instead of just staying at home while I wait for this exam, let me find something to do. So I went to learn how to make makeup, how to do makeup.
Yes.
I had a family friend, blessed memory Ewa. She trained me.
I know Ewa though. Blessed memory.
Yes, Nikki Ogungwe, yes. My very close family friend.
Hmm.
Yeah, Adenike Ogungwe, that's her name. Yeah, she passed on many years ago.
Really? I don't know, but because I used to remember that's not for this show. That's not really good. Yeah, because I think Trade Fair 2000, I met her, the Nigerian Trade Fair exhibition or something. Yeah, 2000. Yeah. That's why I met her.
Yeah, she's passed on now. Yeah, so she trained me on how to do makeup. So I started from there, started doing makeup for other people, attending events. Then I started training people to do makeup as well. And in the process of that, I thought, okay, beyond makeup, what else? So most of my businesses, or most of the businesses that I've done, has been born out of trying to solve a problem, identifying problems. And I keep saying to people that Nigeria has a lot of problems, and there is
Well,
beauty in that.
all countries have problems, not
Well,
all.
but we have peculiar problems, and I see it as money. Your ability to solve problem means that you have the ability to attract wealth.
Mm.
But if you see problem as just problem, and you don't see how you can add value or solve it, then it becomes a problem, if I may say that.
Mm.
So I noticed around me that a lot of people wanted to clean their houses, they wanted thorough cleaning, but they could not afford to pay the professional cleaner, so to speak, to come do their cleaning. So I
Yeah.
decided to start home cleaning services. So I was going
Mm.
to people's houses to clean their house. Um, so I was aspiring that I wanted this to be big, and I didn't really know much about what chemicals to use or what not to use. So um, by the way, I started my first business at age 16, when I was 16.
Wow.
So I then thought, okay, let's do this cleaning thing.
That's not usual for a typical Nigerian though.
Well, yeah, not usual for a typical
Yeah.
Nigeria, but I seem to have time on my hands, and my mom was hardly around, so I just thought instead of sitting around and just waiting, let me do something. So I started. Then I went to a cleaning school, Nigerian Cleaning Services, to learn how to what chemicals to use, how to use what machine, how to use what equipment and stuff, and then I thought, okay, let me see how I can use this to grow the business. From cleaning houses, I started doing, so I would clean for people maybe twice a week or 3 times a week, go to their house to clean. And
Wow.
then I hired 1 or 2 people to join me. So we had multiple houses we were cleaning. So I had people that were working with me. And then I took up post-construction cleaning.
Mm.
Somebody just finished building an apartment back then,
Yeah.
and I took up the cleaning. That's after I'd gone to my cleaning school, so I learned what to do and all of that. And I remember I didn't have money to buy the tools or the equipment or the cleaning stuff that I needed. So what I would usually do is I would tell my clients to buy all the materials and the
Mm.
tools, and
Mm.
they would keep it in their house. So all they have to do is pay me for my cleaning, because I didn't have where to store them, and
Mm.
I couldn't afford to get a proper
That
office.
was a good approach though.
Yeah, that was what I had to adopt. So they just paid me for my service. I printed out really nice small cards. I remember designed a logo somewhere, and then I did T-shirts, and because I just wanted us to look, really
Yeah,
different.
stand out. Yeah.
And yeah, bearing in mind that coming from Mushin, where there was absolutely nothing, and when you look around you, what you see is chaos. I just wanted to stand out. I just wanted to, and then at the time, a lot of the people around me, the young girls around me at the time, they were either pregnant, out of wedlock, having issues here and there. So I usually would sit in my balcony then and just look around, and I'm like, no, I don't want to be like this person. I don't want to be like this person. So I just kept on trying to look for a way to find meaning for my life
I'll call it
beyond what
using
my
you were
environment.
using your brain.
Yeah, beyond what my environment was suggesting to me. So I just wanted to stand out. And I even remember back then, I would not watch Nigerian movies. I never watch, I'd rather watch Bollywood. I'd rather, read novels, because I just wanted something different from that environment. So I looked up how people that do cleaning dress and what they need to put in place. So I thought, okay, t-shirt, let me start with t-shirt. So the little money I got from cleaning, I put that together, designed a t-shirt, did a logo, printed it out. So whenever we go, we always look well kitted, and looked very presentable and all of that. So from there, post construction, I started cleaning for my church then, Elevation Church. I was going from Mushin to Elevation Church, which was on the island at the time. So I started doing that, clean for churches. Then I started doing contract staffing. So if you need a cleaner in your office, we will send you a cleaner that will work with you, and then you pay us, then we pay the cleaners. Um, so that progressed, and I was still doing my makeup,
At the same time.
at the same time. So I wrote my jam 7 times. Still, I didn't 6 times rather. Still, I didn't get through. I remember the last one that I was going to write. I got to the exam hall. They were about to study. They were about to start sharing the question paper, and I just thought to myself, I can be very spontaneous. I just thought to myself, wait, why are you writing this exam again? If you have written it 6 times and you've not passed, why are you here? And I remember I just got off from the from my chair and I started walking out. And one of the vigilators said, "Where are you going to?" I said, "I'm going home." And I could hear the chorus, like everybody was like, ah. They're like, "Why are you going?" I said, "I'm not writing the exam again." The lady was like, "Why you know?" I said, "I don't feel like writing the exam. I've written it 6 times. I don't see the value the exam was adding to me." And she was like, "Well, why not just write this one? Maybe this one." I said, "Well, I'm done writing the exam. I'm not writing the exam again." They thought I was joking, though. I just collected all my property and I left. And that was
Wow.
my last time writing the exam. And I remember from there, I just went to church for rehearsals. And I got there and they were like, "You're not meant to be here today." I said, "Well, I didn't write the exam." They just looked at me like, "Are you being silly right now?" So I eventually took a part-time course in Unilag, studied economics. So they had a distant learning stuff, DLI. So that was what I eventually did, studied economics. So in the process of running the makeup business, running the
Sorry, do you
cleaning
mind
business.
if I put you on hold? Now,
No,
I
please.
want to make something so that the audience, because what you have just shared is quite inspirational. Do you understand? You were not going to sometimes education is not the true test of one's knowledge. I've said that to so many people several
Mm-hmm.
times. Do you understand?
I'm a proof of
Now,
that,
yeah,
actually.
you do not want to waste so much time rewriting that jam. You were doing something at the time that you were passionate about, you were comfortable with. Instead of wasting time and waiting, you had to go for what you were passionate, and you kept doing your business. You were being creative, you made research, you did lots of things. So to anyone out there listening, I'm not saying do not try. Yes, it's okay to try over and over, but if it's not for you, it's not for you. Don't waste your time. If you're not comfortable, if it's not your comfort zone, and I hope you're learning from what she has shared. Yeah, please, can you go on? Yeah.
Let me add to what you have said. It's so interesting that I keep saying that it's not everybody that would run businesses that would require you having a degree.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting also that in this part of the world, we so much, make that having a degree or certificate a priority. Again, for those that want to make it a priority for them, it's fine. I am not one. I love education, but I'm not one that would say, "Oh, I have to have MSc, CCC, and have all the degrees." I'm not a school person. I'm very practical. So a lot of things that I've learned is not because I went to a business school or I have a certificate or I have a degree to run them. They were just things that I was so passionate about and I was willing to learn on the job.
Yeah.
So a lot of people have stayed back in life because they feel, "Oh, I can't pursue this thing because I don't have this educational background." No, you're cheating yourself.
Yeah.
Just put yourself out there and learn on the job is very, very important. So for me, school was not, I knew that I didn't like school for some weird reason. Coupled with the educational system in Nigeria is very poor.
No,
Let's
it's
not
not
even hide.
motivating at all.
It's very poor. So going to school was more or less like I felt like it was a waste of time, that there was a lot I could learn out there.
Yeah.
And what I did was to apply myself, learn a lot online, listen to other business people, read a lot of business books. So I kept on learning
Yeah, and
the
now
best way I could.
let me shock you again. Now, of course, I have a doctorate, and from my understanding, you having a doctorate, it means you are contributing to knowledge. Now, you can contribute to knowledge from your practical experience,
Of course.
doing something that we have not done before, or maybe improving what has been done. It doesn't have to be within the school. You can do that and publish several articles, and then you get a doctorate by publication. So it's not about being within the four walls of the university. It's your contribution to knowledge. So based on you have learned so many things, you've come up with several innovative ideas. You're a solution provider. That solution can be converted into publication, an article that will inform people. So I absolutely agree with you, and I hope people are picking one or two things. It's not being at the university is not the end of the whole thing, you see.
Yeah, a lot of people that don't have the degree, but you are still far better than them in terms of what you've been able to achieve.
Exactly.
One of my favorite quotes from a very great man is when he says that knowledge is not for recall, knowledge is for transformation. So if you keep gathering knowledge and it's not changing your life, there is really no point that you keep going to schools to gather those degrees and you're not doing so much with it. It doesn't make sense. You can gather it if you are doing a lot with it and it's required in your field and all of that. Fantastic. But if you keep gathering it just because that's what people want or that's what people think you should have, just to prove a point, then there is a problem.
Yes, and that would actually lead to doing what makes you happy. So
for me, like I said, all the businesses I've started, it was out of adding value and solving a problem. So the cleaning business started and we were doing okay. So as I was saying, I was attending church on the island and I was still living in Mushin. So sometimes people will say, oh, help me buy pepper, help me buy tomatoes, help me buy this, help me buy that, and I would buy and take to them and stuff. So I just thought one day, like, things are expensive on the island, so why not just start a local market on the island so that people can shop, instead of them going all the way to Mile 12 or to buy their stuff. Let me just start a local market for people. So I started Ojawara. Ojawara started as a Saturday market that happened every last Saturday of the month. So I was able to gather sellers from Mile 12, we go different markets, and then we gather at one car park and set up. So very clean, there was music. So again, I wanted it to look like a very urban style kind of, farm.
Just like the open markets we have in England.
Yeah, so you can drive in, there is good car park. The people attending to you, they are properly dressed. You can use your POS to pay, and the food stuff is well organized, well arranged. The floors were tiled, unlike when you go to our local market here where you have to wear proper boots
and all that.
So I just wanted to create something an experience from going to the market, where you go to market, like, I'm looking forward to the next market day because it's not as stressful or as tedious as the normal market. So we started Ojawara, did the first one, second one, third one, and people started saying, you know what, we can't wait for your next market. We need to order for food stuff. Can you deliver to the house? So I started getting orders, and then I'll go to the market. Sometimes I'll be in the market as early as 5:30. I'll be in my hotel shopping for different people, and then arrange it. I had good bags, so we package it very well, and then deliver to people's houses. But for me, it wasn't, the margins weren't making sense at the time, because again, by the time you spend so much on transportation, the margins were not. And then if you really want to make good money, you have to maybe add some extra fee to maybe what you are buying for them, which will be separate from the fee that they are paying me as their personal shopper. So I didn't want to do that. It wasn't. So I looked at it and I said, okay, how best can I, add value to this thing? So I remember my mom used to talk about living in Jos and how food stuff was very cheap in Jos and all of that. So I woke up one day and I thought, let me just go to Jos. Who knows?
Jos.
Let's go and see. Yeah, that's
From
Plateau State.
Lagos.
Yeah, so I'm like, let me go and see what's happening in Jos. So I took I went on it. I took a flight to Jos, got to Abuja, got to Jos and did another almost 3 hours to Jos. I didn't know anybody in Jos. I just got there, looked for an hotel, stayed. Then I came out and asked, okay, where are your markets? Like, let me go and see what you have there. So I went to their market, and then I, I think that's the first time biggest tomato farm I've ever market I've ever
How
seen in my
old were
life.
you at the time, if you don't mind me
This was like what now? 2000 and I'm very bad with dates, so I'm so sorry. This was 2014 or so. So I should be about 20, 2014, maybe like 25,
You were
26
over
or there.
20, so yeah,
Oh
wow.
yeah, I was over 20. So I then thought, okay, if you have this large, beautiful looking tomatoes, that means you have farms around you. They said, yes, okay, where are your farms? Somebody pointed me in the direction of the farm. So I went to one of the farms, and that was my first time being in a tomato farm, and I fell in love. Like, I was absolutely in love. I'm
We were
like,
blown
what?
away.
Yes. So, and the plan was not to shop. The plan was just to look around and see what is there. So, but I got really carried away. So the next day, I went back again. Then I thought, okay, I can't shake off the feeling of shopping here. So I called people in Lagos and I said, please, will you borrow me money? So I started borrowing money, 100K here, 200K here. So I crowdfunded the money that I needed. I think I was able to raise about 1 point something million raised, and I said, well, I'll give you back in 1 week. Then I called the malam that I usually shop from in Mount 12, and I said, Alaji, I'm in Mount 12, I'm in
Just
Jos rather. The tomato, should I buy? He said yes. I didn't even ask him what to buy or how to buy. I just bought, I was so excited, loaded a whole truck
I
of
can imagine. I can
tomatoes.
imagine how your brain was running and
Oh
calculating
my
how you were
God.
going to make
I
best
was
use of.
I was so happy. And then there's a way they pack it where you have a paper bag on it. You have to write your name on it so that when they get to Malta, they can differentiate you. So writing Temitopo on it was like pure bliss. I was so happy. So they said the tomatoes will get to the market to mile 12, I think 7 a.m. the next day or so, or 8 a.m. the next day. So I quickly went back took a bus back to Abuja, then took a flight back to Lagos. And the next morning, I quickly went to mile 12 to wait for my tomatoes. Okay, so
Okay, if you
long
don't
story
mind,
short,
if you don't mind me going back to what you have said. Now, when you got into the tomato market and you were blown away, you said you were writing your name on the you were happy about it. So when you
yeah.
find yourself in a place where you are happy, you won't get tired. You would only see the beautiful part of it. And I
Yeah.
can bet that you probably were there for like 10 to 12 hours and you didn't even know time had gone.
Oh, of
Because
course, you enjoy it. When you
yes,
like what you do, time is like you're lost in time. Absolutely.
exactly. Yes, you. So for everyone listening, if you haven't found that place where you are doing something and you don't get tired, you look at the time and it's then you're not there yet. If you're doing something, oh yeah, I have to pay the bills. I don't like this job, but I have to pay the bills. You're not there yet. I'll let you continue.
Yeah, so but however, let me say something about what you said. As much as I'm a huge fan of people doing what they love, there's also the part where sometimes you have to take up some jobs or some responsibilities as in transition to where you are going to,
Yeah.
right? Now, the attitude that you maintain while you're even doing something you don't love just to pay the bills is as important as
Yep.
when you eventually start to do what you love. Because
Absolutely.
the truth is, it's not all of us that will get a job where we would love to work
Yep.
at a certain time in our life. So
Mm.
if at at a particular time, whatever, when Bible says, whatsoever your hand finds you to do, do it with all your heart.
Yes.
Sometimes you say, this is what I can find right now. If that is the case for some of us watching right now, which is, I'm doing this because this is all I can to pay the bill. What I always say to people is that do it with all your heart and make sure that you learn. There's something you are going to learn there. Apply yourself to it as you plan towards the future that you want. But you'll be doing yourself a huge disservice where you are doing something you don't love just because you want to pay the bills, and then your attitude towards it is also so bad. So it's more or less like you're killing yourself multiple ways.
Exactly.
So if washing the plate is the job I can get because I need to fend for my family, I need to find a way to derive some level of pleasure. To say, okay, can I do something where I'm washing this plate faster than every other person? Can I create some values out of it, right? Now, the excitement you get in jobs are different, but I've come to discover that principles when it comes to work ethics, they are the same. If you are doing what you love and you are told to resume 8 o'clock, and then you are able to resume 8 o'clock, the one that you are doing that you don't love and you are still told to resume 8 o'clock, why not use that to learn work ethics?
Yes.
While you are in preparation for where you are going. But for you to shut down and say, let me just pay the bills, and then the attitude doesn't, then I don't even like it.
Yeah.
Just
to add to what you have said. Now, you mentioned that try and learn from what you're doing that you're not happy about, or try and do it differently. How can I, in the process of having to sit down and reflect and say, how can I do it differently? How can I be better? How can I derive pleasure? That alone in its own would actually give you happiness. Will make you feel good because you're going out of your comfort zone to make the best use of wherever you find yourself. And trust me, you will find pleasure from achieving it, because you feel that, yes, I am washing this plate, but I'm doing it differently. I'm washing it faster than the others. I'm standing out. I am different. That is in itself, it's
do it on your own terms. Do it on your own terms and make it a work of art. Let it be that whatever you are doing, you are the best at it. That alone is something that you should derive pleasure in. That, oh, I'm the best here. So that should be the goal. I keep saying it. When I enter a place or when I join something, I want to do it in such a way that I'm standing out where people say, Atokpa is different. So that can be what you need to apply, and you'll be surprised at the excitement you will get, and while you work towards that. So just try to be your best.
Yeah, unfortunately, lots of people in the society where I've found myself in everyone that knows me will say, oh, Bola, I always want to be the best, honestly. Trust me, I want to be the best wherever I find, and I want to do it differently. But some people say, they use the the Yoruba in the Euros, but, and I was saying to my husband, I said, it has worked for me, It will work for you. Try to be the best, stand out. It's okay to stand out. It's okay to be selfish. It's okay to put in extra effort. Do not listen to what people would say, and thanks for sharing that. Yes, I'll let you go.
Yeah. So I loaded the truck and then got to mile 12 the next day. Then I had to wait for my truck. So they told me the journey was going to be 18 hours from Jos to Lagos. But then I think I had to wait for about 24 to 25 hours. By the time the truck eventually came, we couldn't offload at the time because Mile 12 had a time where you can offload. So we had to wait additional 2 hours or thereabout. So by the time they opened up the tomatoes, 60% of my tomatoes has gone bad because of the heat. And then when I bought ripe, as in really ripe tomatoes. So what I was meant to buy was those that were still a bit green, so that by the time they travel through the journey, the heat and everything, when they come, they are still fresh. But to me, I bought very ripe, the really red ones. That was what I went to buy. So it was bad, and so they had to sell like at a loss. But I was still excited, and I'm like, okay, I've learned something. What am I going to do better? I went back again, kept on going back. But the truth is, that business didn't do well. That's the truth. That going to the farm did not do well at all. So, and that's because again, there was no price stability in that market. So in the morning, you can get tomato. They tell you a basket of tomatoes is 6,000. By the time you are going in the evening, the same basket of tomatoes they can tell you is now 9,000 naira, and all of that. So there was no stability. You can't plan. So it was very, very. So sometimes I'm in the farm, I'm calling that, okay, what's the price now? They tell me the price. I'm like, okay, it's good, let me buy. By the time my goods is eventually getting to Lagos, price has changed. So I couldn't plan, I wasn't in control. So I felt like, okay, I wanted something that I needed to be more in control of. So I decided to partner with some of the farmers there, because some of them have land, but they don't have access to input, or they don't have access to funds to properly, expand or grow their farm. So I partnered with a farmer to run the farm. I said, okay, I'll pay for all the inputs and labor and everything you need. All you need to do is farm for me and use your land. I would also create a market. I'll sell to my guys in Lagos. So I thought that way I would have more control, because the cost of production is fixed. So the flexibility around what is being sold, I would have more control in that area. So I did that. So I was in Lagos. My malam was in Jos. There was a bit of language barrier. I didn't really understand English, and then I didn't really understand Hausa. So I just say, send money, send. I know, like I don't send, them, and stuff. And it just went on and on like that. So it was time for harvest. He couldn't send me pictures, he couldn't send me anything because he didn't have a good phone to do that. So eventually I went to just to harvest my tomatoes back. So only for me to get there, um, and all I could see was maybe 30% of the farm. And then the man went, oh, that there was pest outbreak, and the thing ate the tomatoes and one thing. So apparently also this guy married a new wife, because I saw one baby that kept on saying, auntie welcome, auntie welcome. That's the new wife, that's my money. That's the new wife that my money went to, and all of that. So I just thought, this agriculture thing, really, it's difficult. Like God would have to call you to get into it for you to get into it. I remember there were times where I would follow my truck from Jos to Lagos, like sit in the truck
For
with them.
18 hours.
Yeah, drive overnight. Sometimes we leave maybe just around 8 o'clock in the night and get to Lagos by maybe 12 or so. I'll sit in the bus with them. And the truth is, I can see how bad the roads were. I can see how sometimes security will stop them on the way. They have to pay their way out, and all of that. So all of these things were not helping. There were no good roads, no good infrastructure. So I just thought, these are great thing. And I didn't insure the farm, so all the money was gone. And by this time, I was in serious debt. I was owing people money. I didn't know how to pay and stuff. So I had a friend then in church in the choir, and I was talking to him about, I think this is a great thing. I'm just going to stop doing it and stuff. He was not like, oh, that he's also been thinking about it. If there's a way we can bring technology into it, that way, we can monitor it, we can, get more people to raise funds and stuff. So that was how Farm Crowdy started. It became a crowdfunding platform, the first digital agricultural crowdfunding platform in Nigeria, that allowed people to fund projects in agriculture. So we started Farm Crowdy. People brought in their bits and pieces. You would have met with the farmers, sat down to design a farming protocol. We had people on the farm that trained them, and then we created access to market. We would have created a market. We had a person that would buy whatever it is we are producing, and then we put insurance in place, and there was proper monitoring of the farm, because we had people farm supervisors in those farms working with the farmers, so they can send you real-time updates, pictures, videos of what is going on. So these were the things I suffered in my own personal farm.
Yes, yeah,
There was
because
no how to monitor. Yeah, there was no how to monitor the farmer. The farmer was not properly trained, so he didn't know what to apply on the farm when the outbreak happened, and all of that. There was issues in terms of access to market, because it is whatever it is that they sell it in the market I have to sell. So there wasn't like I've agreed a price at the beginning of my farming. There was no insurance as well. I didn't do insurance. So all of the lessons, all the horrible things that happened in running my own Ojawara, they were major, major lessons that I had to apply when I became the operations person for Farm Crowdy, because um, it was like Ojara was the school fees I paid to gain
it was the
admission.
learning curve. It was an opportunity to
A learning curve. Yes, it
try
was
and
a learning
fail,
curve.
and yeah.
Exactly. So that's why I say it anywhere I go, that don't mystify failure. When you fail from something, there's something you need to learn.
Yeah, it's
Learn
an
it and then
opportunity to
apply it.
redirect, isn't it? I always say
Yeah,
to people,
yeah,
when you're going to a
yeah,
destination and you miss the route, you're not going back home. You try and redirect,
yeah,
isn't it? And that's what failure is. Yes. One thing
yeah. So
you, when you started from getting to Jaws, you only, out of your passion, you found something you were really excited about. That's the foundation. You were really happy about it. You failed many times, but you were looking at the bright side of it. You learned all through and made you used every failure as an opportunity to get better and see how you can do things differently as well as stand out. And that's one thing I want everyone to take away from Tokwe's yeah. So I'll let you continue.
okay, so that happened, and so I like I said, I learned a lot. Like I so all those lessons, all those feelings, I cried. There were
I
times
know.
when I cried and I'm like, God, why is this business not working? Why am I losing so much money? Why is it that whenever I'm almost at the market, that's when they change the price? And I didn't understand what was going on. I was going to give up. Like I was just going to pack my bags and look for something else to do. But then starting Farm Crowdy, it was more or less like, I'm like, guys, no, we are not going that way. This is the way to go. Guys, no, we are not going. So there were a lot of mistakes I would have made in the beginning. There were so many things I would have done. But that experience taught me, and it was more or less like it was the spring that we needed for Farm Crowdy. So working in Farm Crowdy, I managed the farmers. I was in charge of operations. So sit down, design protocols with them, worked with off-takers, those that will buy, work with the farmers. So now that level was very interesting because I had to deal with people in different categories. So I'm dealing with my colleagues, right? And then I'm having to deal with our clients that would buy from us, which are on another level. So there is a level of reasoning that is required to work with those guys. There's a level of reasoning that was required for me to work with my guys.
Yeah.
There's a level of reason that was required for me to work with the guys that are working with the farmers.
Yep.
And there's a total level of reasoning that was required to deal with the farmers because those guys, they're on another level entirely. Trust me.
I can imagine.
Like they have a mind of their own. God, you are saying one thing, they are nodding their head. But by the time you turn around, they've done something else.
Something else.
And to make it more interesting, I was a woman amongst all the men. For some weird reason, I always find myself in that awkward zone where you turn around and you see that this is the only woman here. So imagine dealing with men. Sometimes I'm standing amongst over 500 farmers, men, and I'm the only woman. And I have to tell them what to do. And then it's also a place where culture, in their culture, they don't listen to women. It's the other way around.
The women are in the other room, other parts of the house.
So it was a very tough place to be where you have to now, as a person, have to find a way to balance and say, okay, now this is the cap of what I'm wearing now. I'm dealing with the farmers. Oh, now I'm dealing with my colleagues. Oh, now I'm dealing with. So it was a lot. Um, Managing those farmers, over 25,000 farmers
Wow.
across 10 states. So I was always on the road, traveling a lot. I'm so grateful to God for protection,
Yeah.
traveling a lot. Now, again, I didn't study agriculture in school, right? Because people will say, oh, I would love to do this, but I did not go to school to study this. I didn't, I'm one person that I took up opportunities that I love and I go into it. So, you know, when they say some people dive before they learn how to swim, that's me. I dive in. The survival instinct in me or in everybody will teach you how to survive.
Yeah,
That's
you take
that's my
risks. That's
own.
what I'll see. Take risks,
Yeah, take risk and as much as I can see
calculated ones
value and
though.
yeah, but sometimes there are reckless ones that you have to take though. That you are like, oh my God, how did I get here? But
Yeah,
then
but of
the
course you
survival,
have the big picture of what you're looking at. You have a
of
plan,
course,
a goal. So that's what will drive you using. So it's still calculated. Mm.
of course. And then going to the farms at most of our projects were in the north, and at the time it was a very, very, very volatile environment where kidnappings were happening, shootings were happening, and all of that. And sometimes I have to be on the road, on those same roads that they are shooting and kidnapping people, you know, and just to get to the farmers and reach what the goals that we have set to achieve. So it wasn't like I had it easy. So I'm always very hands-on and just there, like
Yeah,
thinking
but
of how
one
to
thing I
make
would
it
like
better.
to ask is, in all these that you were doing, were you satisfied with what you were doing, or you just have, what was the driving force for you? Because you just, was it that you just needed to get the money, or you needed to solve problems, or what was the driving, what was that thing that made you fulfilled, that made you comfortable?
Well, someone like me, I think one of the least motivator for me in what I do is money. So I'm money has never been a driving force. For me, it is the value that I had that goes a long way for me. I remember when we started, I think we were even earning 100,000 naira. So 100,000 naira compared to what I spent,
Yeah.
is no jokes. So what really keeps me going, I love solving problems. I
Yeah.
love when people say this is hard and I come there and I think and I'm able to get it done. The level of satisfaction that I derive and the
Mm.
level of excitement that I derive from solving problems, oh God, I can't even explain it. I love solving problems. I love adding value. I love doing things for people. I love serving. I'm
Mm.
someone that really, one of my major core value as a person is service. I love to serve. I
Mm.
love to, add value. I love to walk into a room and people say, oh, that's the person that was able to solve that problem. So that was a motivating factor for me, where we are saying, oh, we need to plant on 1,000 hectares. How are we going to do it? And I'm able to say, okay, let's do it. I enjoy it a lot. So
Yeah.
I
So
think that was one of the big
yeah,
things
so
for me.
I'll try and say that you love, when someone says I love, it means that that thing makes you happy. So you did things that made you happy, that made you that you liked, were serving people, solving problems, and that was the driving force that kept pushing you.
Yeah.
That kept pushing you to go on, and even with going through all the problems and failing, you used them as a learning curve because they were the things that you like to do.
Yeah. So that's it for me. Excitingly solving problems, like getting things done. So yeah, those were the things that motivated me. So working with the farmers, and then before we knew what was going on, recognition started coming. I remember when we first started our first project, we were meant to raise money for 500 units or so, and it took us about 1 month to be able to raise it, and that's even getting family and friends. You say, come, oh, come and support your business. So, that kind of thing. And then to now see that people started talking about Farm Crowdy.
Yeah, I
People
think I
started
remember.
seeing,
I remember the vice president mentioning.
yeah, the vice president coming to our office. He
Oh,
came to
did
the
he?
office. Yeah, he did. Came to the office, took pictures, and even sponsored some of our farms. I'm like,
Wow.
amazing, and to think that it was just something that started out of, let's just do this thing. We didn't even know how far it was going to go, how big it was going to get. We just said, let's get this thing on done, and stuff. So that for me was a big deal, seeing all of that happen. So from Farm Crowdy, um, let me go a bit personal here. I then saw that because of what I was doing, I'm beginning to be seen as the Greek girl, right? As much as I love what we were doing, I personally just wanted to do businesses. I'm excited about running businesses, different business. So I wanted to run different business. I wanted to own different businesses in different sectors, doing multiple things. So I then saw that, okay, people are beginning to see me as the Greek girl. So when you say Tokwe, you say Greek. I'm like, no, 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 no. That was not the plan. That was not the plan. So our business got the opportunity to then transition into other things. We noticed that whenever, I remember when we opened up a project, over $1 million project, and we sold out in 8 minutes. And then people
Eight
started saying, no,
minutes.
yeah, 8 minutes, yes. I can't forget that, the 8 minutes. And people said, no, this project never went live. You guys are lying. You didn't sell. And we sold out in 8 minutes. And I'm like, well, this is big. And agriculture is not a sector that you just scale up and say, oh, we are doing 1 hectare, 10 hectares now. Let's just start doing 100. No, it doesn't work that way. So I just said, we thought that, okay, we need to find a way to make sense out of it, because we sell out and then it's like there's nothing else to do until a
Yeah.
new project comes up and we have to wait. And at the time, other competitors were coming up. We were the first to do it. And other people started, even though those that know what to do, I didn't know what to do. Nigeria, you know how we are.
I know.
Copy and paste. People were doing different things. Some people even went to copy word for word what we had on our website for you to
Wow.
see how late but that happened. And so people were giving monies to competitors, and competitors, some of them were lying about the returns that they can pay just to get people over and stuff. So we thought, instead of waiting and not having anything on the platform, sometimes for weeks, we then decided to say, okay, let's crowdfund for other sectors beyond agriculture. Um, Other sectors need money as well. Access to finance is a major problem
Yeah.
all over the world. So we thought, okay, let's crowdfund for other sectors. And that was my own opportunity to not just be the agri girl, but to be a woman that is able to run different businesses.
Yeah.
So when that opportunity came up, and my other co-founders came and said, would you like to, be, because I've been screaming it in their ears that I don't want to be there again. So at the time, they wanted a managing director for Farm Crowdy, and then somebody else to manage Crowdyvest. And they came to me to say, okay, be the managing director for Farm Crowdy. I said, no, I don't want it. I really don't want it. And it then seemed like, oh, this is the best opportunity, or that was the best role that I could have at the
At
time.
the
And
time.
I said, I really don't want it. And this is also again me taking a huge risk, because
Risk.
there was nothing else I could do in the business. I was not a finance person. I was not a marketing person. I was not a,
You're a
and
very
the
practical
strongest,
person.
yeah, the strongest thing I've done that has added value to the business is to manage the operations part of the business. So it was a big struggle as to, okay, if you are saying you don't want this role, what are you going to do? And I had to start thinking again over my life. Okay, so what new projects am I going to go and start? Because I wasn't willing to, take that role. But
Yeah.
I took a risk, and luckily for me, months down the line, we decided to start Crowdyvest. And then they said, oh, since you don't want to be the agri girl, you want to be the girl that is doing different business. And I'm the only girl amongst those guys. So we're like, okay, do you want to run Crowdyvest? I was so happy because what Crowdyvest is doing is something that is so dear to my heart. As you can see, our background is the SDG goals.
Yeah.
So the fact that we can raise monies for businesses that are um, have some sort of affiliation with the SDG goals and they're able to solve problems in
Sorry, what's
Nigeria.
SEG?
That's the sustainable development goals,
Okay.
sustainability development goals. Sorry.
Yeah.
So it was a big deal for me. Like when that opportunity came, and the fact that we can raise monies for different businesses in different sectors, and they sit heavily on these 17 pillars.
Wow.
It was so important for me, and so I became the managing director of Crowdyvest, and we officially started in January this year, and we've done excellently well. We've been able to crowdfund for real estate, agriculture, transportation, health, and the plan is to keep expanding, as we go. So yeah.
Yeah, well done.
That,
Very, very well done. Yeah, I would assume that lots of people would have taken one or two things. But what is your take on doing what makes you happy?
so my take on doing what makes you happy is that so there is this thing that keeps you going that you cannot explain when you are doing what you are excited about. Where if they wake you up in the middle of the night, you don't feel deprived, you feel it's an opportunity. For me, I believe that doing what makes you happy is like a fuel that keeps your car running. It fuels you up when everybody wants to sleep and go and relax, because it's something you're passionate about. You just stay on, you just stay on, you just stay on. Now there is an advantage to it and there's a disadvantage to it, because sometimes you get so buried into it that you're not able to take time out to look at other perspective, and all of that. And then you can get stuck because you are used to that process, you are used to that style. So I always say to people that even when you are doing what you love, your ability to innovate as a person is very important, so that you don't get too stuck in your comfort zone. Sometimes you need to push yourself out and go and do other things that you don't like to do, come back, and continue, because by the time you come back, there's a new perspective that comes to it. It's like when you go on vacation and you truly take time off work to go on vacation. The truth is, when you're on vacation, if you meditate and think through your work pattern, by the time you come back refreshed. You change some things. You're able to change them and say, no, we need to stop doing things this way. We need to start doing things this way. So I always encourage people that are doing what they love, and also watching other people doing the same thing and trying to study what they are doing differently is very important. Again, so that you don't get stuck in a rut and you're just there and like, this is how I like it. Oh, I'm here in my comfort zone. I'm fine here. No, you need to push. You need to push yourself. There is one physics law that I think that's the only thing I picked out of my physics class in school. I says a body remains at a place of rest until an external force is applied to it. So that can happen when you are doing what you love, where you are just there like, oh, I'm here. So
It's your
you need
comfort
to
zone.
apply all those. Yeah, you need to apply that, push you out for you to be bigger and be better.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. And aside the work and having goals, and there's a time to be selfish and looking after yourself and loving yourself, So in that regards, for you, what are the, because of course I see you sing a lot and I'm like, oh, I used to sing, I really wish I could do this, and I'm thinking in my head, she's really busy, she does all this, and you still see her on the stage. I'm thinking, okay, maybe, so can you just share, aside all that, for me, this is my opinion, I think that makes you happy, So I don't know, or is it just something that you feel I am obliged to do that, or is something I have to do for God, or it's, yeah.
Well, for me, I've always loved music. Interestingly, I'm the music director in my church right
Oh,
now.
I
So
see. Because
yeah,
this morning, or was it last night, I was thinking, is she only the one always sing? She just posts just her own beat, just her own part on her.
so it's a bit of work because I have to coordinate the choir, but at the same time, it's something I love as well. I love music. So the other thing I do for fun is I watch movies a lot because again, one of my strongest assets as a person is my mind. Some people have physical energy to exert. I think I can manage both being physically involved and being mentally involved in things. But a lot of my work is mental. Like my head is always just stuck
It's always
with
spinning.
plenty. Yeah, always thinking, always spinning, always, and I barely sleep. It's not like it's good. So I'm working on that sleep part.
Don't worry,
Sometimes
you're
I
not
stay
you're
on
not on
the
that
phone.
page alone. You have a lot. Even
So
the
4
person that's
a.m.
speaking to is on that same page. But it's not. I
No
try
matter
not to say because it's not healthy. So it's okay.
it's
Let's
not
just leave
healthy
it at
at
that.
all. It's not. No matter how much I work during the day, I can't really sleep until maybe 12 or 1 a.m. And by 4
You're
a.m. my
doing
eyes
well.
are
You're doing well at 12. You're doing well at 12. So well done.
okay. I'm proud of myself. So because my mind just keeps processing. So what I do is I watch movies. So once I start watching a movie, I put my 100% attention and concentration on the movie. I don't know how people watch movie and they say they are drifting away. That's not me. So I am immersed.
Let's not even go into that movie.
So that's what I do to relax my mind because I just sometimes I go to the cinema and I do like a marathon. So I can watch like 5 movies. I just watch back to back to back. So by the time I'm done, I'm very, very refreshed. So
Yeah.
I do movies. I go on vacation when I can, as many times as I can in a year, and just try to relax and see other countries, see other people, see what they do with their tradition and learn. Um, I think those are the two major
Yeah,
things I
so it's
use it for.
important that people know that although she's a superwoman, she does all these things. She actually takes time to do things that she likes to do. Something that
Yeah.
actually takes her mind off work and then concentrate. And to be honest, I absolutely agree with you because I'm the same as well. My husband, when I'm probably going through a lot, my husband says, Joe Korea, go and watch Korean movies because you know, he starts begging me that please watch Korean movies, because I do that. I can sit there and then, in as much as I work really hard and, when it comes to Korean movie, don't,
You
don't,
indulge.
don't try, But yeah, thank you so much. Thanks for sharing all these tips here. And for everyone that has listened, I hope that you have learned one or two things. And yeah, Tokyo has shared so much. Whatever you are doing, you first, yes, you go through, you fail, it's not the end. You use the failure as a learning curve, learn from it. She has learned from it, try and derive pleasure from what you are doing. I know it's not where you want to be, but try and convert it, make pleasure out of it, and yes, thank you so much, Dr. Thanks. So I know it was really hard to make time to join me today, and
Thank
you've
you.
had all she does. If you're interested in funding Crowdyvest as well as Farm Crowdy, I would leave the link to their website underneath this episode. So yes, on their website you get their email and their contacts. So if you want more details about what they do. So thanks for sharing this interesting, and yeah, thanks for your time. I'll let you go. You enjoy the rest
Thank
of
you
the
so
day.
much. Thank you so much. And well done for this. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah,
All right.
enjoy.
Bye.
Bye. Wow. Thank you so much to Temitope Omotolani for sharing those with us. If you ever find yourself in a position, in an environment where you're not comfortable with what you're doing, try and make pleasure out of it. Think about yourself, think about how you can convert that unhappiness into something that is pleasurable. I know that when listening to her, she's actually had times where she has failed, but she has used it as a learning curve. And yeah, that applies to me as well. I have been in situations where I've not been happy with where I am, but I try to make the best use of it, and you should do the same, because importantly, when you're thinking about self-love, you have to do what makes you happy. And if you find yourself in a place where you're not happy, try and make the best use and convert those situations that are unhappy, or that job that is on, do something different. If you have found this very useful, please do not forget to like and subscribe. Share this to everyone. Share this to your family and friends, okay? And then, if you have any other question, as usual, do not forget to send us an email on the email on the screen, and using the email on the screen, and yes, we'll reply you. And thanks, keep those questions coming. Keep them coming in. And thanks for joining me today. This is Dr. Bola Adeyeye Omishade.